Contrary to what the logo suggests, this isn't the inspiration for folk sound. Instead, you're an anti-terrorist organization that fights against world domination plots. This came out in 1990 and Snatcher came out in 1988. Oh, I see. Taito, run! Taito, run! Araknie here with Thunder Fox and also the arcade video game. Oh right, this is a review channel. This is a run and gun game with a pretty typical plot, but it does have interesting gameplay and set pieces. Nobody knows this game and yet, what a surprise. The story is the barest of plots, but it's kinda funny to me. All terrorists band together to conquer the world thanks to a mastermind. The idea of all these different type of criminals organizing, trusting each other and accepting a single leader is hilarious to me. Such sweet innocence. All it's missing is Chuck Norris showing up from a roof bringing its zero emotional capacity throwing a bomb. Sorry, I watched too many shit movies. On a more appropriate game maybe I'll tell the story of how that happened. Anyway, here we have a normally playing run and gun with some unique gameplay options. For example, it differentiates between melee and ranged. With button 1 you can always use your knife, but with number 3 you use your weapon after you pick them up. They have limited bullets but also a very surprising feature I haven't seen yet. You can pick up more of the same while not using it to stock up on bullets. It works for everything aside the flamethrower. They have different effects, so don't use a grenade for a fast mover, but do use an assault rifle for crowd control. Think about your weapons logically and you won't have a problem. Enemies don't really respawn, they only come about when you move forward. If you really sit still, they send you 1 or 2 characters, but it's minimal, compared to what happens usually on screen. Also, you have a health bar, a pretty rare sight in 1990. Very welcome and makes the game not too hard to go through. Level design feels like Rolling Thunder, but good, finally. I tried to finish the first 2 titles, but I really ended up not making it because of the stiffness of the controls. But with this, no problem. You go up and down just by pressing button 2 and moving up your joystick. This move also gives you a kicking attack and some invincibility frames, and the duality of the field of action is fluid and easy to parse. But the most important point, the big surprise I talked about earlier, is the variety in them. Aside from the side scrollers, you get other gameplay. In the first stage you get to drive a random car with a turret you find, as you do. A shoot 'em up, where if you're good, you get to retain your ship until destroyed in the next on foot level. That's already something that not every developer would have thought of putting in here you get a chance. That's the kind of surprise I can get behind. You destroy the engine of a flying fortress and get an escape sequence. With a timer, things exploding around you, all the fun stuff you need in these cases. Then you get to drive a jet ski and you can jump around mines and shoot. Of course it has a gun mounted. Ending with a boss fight that might seem unfair at first, but it's perfectly doable. Because it has 3 phases, but not too much health for each one of them. Unlike the rest of the game, you don't respawn on the spot. So you have to do it in one go, but you have 3 health bars, so try to pass the first phase without getting hit. It's doable, and if you manage, you're basically on the clear unless you choke. Incredibly fair and nice difficulty curve, more similar to a Super Nintendo game than a quarter eater like you'd expect in this case. What's missing from this game is the enemy variety, energy and exploration of ideas that the best electronic game machines let simmer and broil until it's realized its full potential. You move fast from thing to thing, but then after the jet ski they stop and just becomes a normal side-scroller. Graphically also it's a bit inconsistent, pretty good looking for everything that's moving around. The pixel art is very detailed in those cases. While streaming I've read appreciative comments about the construction crane boss. The animation on the man with the double-edged spear also was pretty fluid and great to see moving about. It clashes a bit with the static backgrounds, and it's not even consistent. The countdown sequence shows that they can give levels plenty of movement. The beginning of stage 1 has changing weather the more you move in. Frustrating because it ramps up so well and then the last 10 minutes are very basic. How weird. Musically there's some great tunes, but only 3 melodies really stand out. How does that make sense? Because the others are too short. In the worst cases they might even get as low as 40 or 30 seconds. If you get stuck in a stage or want to explore the level a little, you need to tune out the music from your mind to manage going forward without without losing it. That's not something that I want to see happen as someone that needs music in action games and RPGs. Other genres might be different for me, but I need it in this. That's not enough. I usually watch back the footage and listen to my old opinions and the music and paying attention as I do to make a review so I don't miss anything I wanted to talk about. Well, doing that was painful today for my ears. Most of what I said today was positive. That's why I'm going to give Thunder Fox an 8 out of 10, oh yeah? For 1990 arcades, this is above most of them. It stands out for sure. So strange that it's so lesser known compared to other games from that year, especially many that are considerably worse. I guess if Call of Duty can be popular, anybody can. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see. Until next time, ciao ciao!